And a very good day to you, and a hearty welcome from Cape Town and Nodelpit Beginner. My name is Roland, and today we're gonna have a look at one of my favorites. Those who know me know it's no secret that I do like these kind of cars like you see here on that side. Volkswagen Karmann Ghia, the Borgward Isabella Coupe, all more or less in the same vein as this car. Now we are looking at this little kit from Tamiya. I was very, very happy that I could get hold of one of those, and I'm certainly looking forward building it. But in the meantime, before we all do that, we obviously want to know what is in the box of these little cars. It is a little car, as you will see later on. But before we do that, let's have a quick look at the history of the kit and maybe a little bit of the car as well before we move down to the bench. So I'll see you there. Right, and here we are on Scalemates having a look at the Volkswagen Karmann Ghia Coupe. In this particular case, it is the 1966 model. Now, Tamiya brought this one out for the first time, let's have a look, in 1994, as we can see here. And let's just transition this so we can see a bit better. Here we go. And then what I have here is a repop from 2005. A little bit later, they also even sold the finished model. Let's see if there's anything more in the fullest. Oh, look at that. There are Karmanns all over the show. Parma Plastics are in there again, Vinico, Gunsy Sango, and then obviously the two Tamiya ones, and there are models from Mr. Hobby. Now don't ask me which one has copied from which and who has tools from who, but Gunsy Sango and Mr. Hobby seem to be more or less on the same page, as are Parma Plastic and Vineco have been, both not in existence anymore. Right. So that is pretty cool. So it's a mid-90s kit, reboxed in 2005, and apparently only the box has changed, and they just called it the Historic Car Series. Well, the real car obviously is much more beautiful like this. I mean, isn't she just amazing? I think so. I mean, that's just a beautiful, beautiful car. Let's be honest here. Let's try to get this fill up the screen with this here. Come on, Roland, you're going to do it. Here we go. Right, there you are. Beautiful, beautiful car. Really love it. And I'm sure you do too. That's what the mid-60s or the 60s Karmann Ghia looked like. Now I was at headlights, not headlights, the tail lights, also the position of the headlights sometimes. The very early ones had the headlights a little bit lower. But the tail lights was one of the differentiators where you could see from which decade Karmann Ghia you are looking at. For example, up to 59, tail lights looked like that, bit of a hexagon shape. And if you think Chrysler, yeah. Ghia also designed the same kind of shape and form, obviously in a bigger form factor for Chrysler. Then looking at the 60s Karmann Ghia, talking about 60 to 69, this has the taillights like we should find them in this particular kit. Look at this beautifully two-tone car. I mean, it's just amazing. And obviously you love these Cobra chrome finishes. Then the short span of 70-71, when Karmann Ghia was built, they put the Type 3 taillights on, which looked awful. I'm sure you all agree. So let's look at the more beautiful part here, right over here. And let's have a quick look at a little bit more of a history that was conceived by Ghia and prompted by Karmann early in the 1950s. These were the days when we still met at car shows, like in physical things where people actually got together. That's where they met, and that's where they decided to do that. Volkswagen eventually approved the design in 1953, and it started production in 1955. Obviously it's Beetle based, no surprises there. I'll get to the engine capacity of this sports looking car, which probably by any other measure, not really a sports car, but it looks very sporty. Now, as I said, this design was built for around about 19 years, apart from the rear lights and some other very small changes which we talked about. For example, this chrome started to disappear and it was then replaced by rubber, black rubber, and that kind of stuff. They built over 445,000 of these, also built them in Brazil at the time, and very, very popular. People first called them hairdresser cars. Now these days everybody loves them. Wonderful, wonderful little cars. Let's talk about engine quickly. We had I did mention it has a Beetle engine. It came out with two engines basically in the 60s, which is the model we are looking at. It had the 1200cc Beetle engine, which obviously is air-cooled, flat 4. It has a smaller Solix carburetor. It had 34 mighty horsepower. And if you really pushed it with a good tailwind, you could get it up to 120 kilometers or 75 miles per hour. And then it had the big block, which was the 1300cc engine, which had a double Solex 32 and a long-stroke crankshaft, a Chrysler long-stroke crankshaft, which was obviously quite an upgrade because the horsepower went from 34 all the way up to 50 horsepower. It also got to 94 newton meters off torque. That's obviously something people talk about today, very important. And if you really pushed it and if you could hold on to the steering wheel tight enough, it went up to 150 kilometers per hour. And that is more or less quick, a historical and technical, very, very top-level historical and technical rundown of the Volkswagen Karmann Ghia. But I'm not going to go on with that. We obviously want to have a look what's in the box, so let's do that. And we will have a quick look what we will find in the box. So I'll see you on the bench. And here we are. There it is, the little box of the Volkswagen Karmann Ghia Coupe 1966. Right, let's open it up. There's nothing. Quick look around the box if you want to. Here we go. Not much we can see. There's the same in red, old single color. And then again, so there's not too much around the box. We have the beautiful body, we have the glass, we have the tires, we have plastic and plastic. We have the instruction. And I don't see any decals. I don't know if it does not come with decals. There's some small silvery ones with the these rubber decals, the glass, and that's all I'm seeing. Anyway, we will figure that out as we go through. No decals, no number plates. I mean, I have enough decal number plates that can kill you with, so it's not a problem. It's just interesting. Right, and here we have. We start with the instruction. Let's open this up. Typical mid-90s instruction from the fine folks over at Tamiya. And you see quite a bit of a color call out. There's quite a list. Don't know if you want to see it. Maybe get one or what. Here we go. So you can stop the video now and have a look what colors you need. Right, color call outs. And then they start with the mighty Volkswagen engine right over here. So you can see exactly the Volkswagen as we know him from Tamiya, exactly the same engine. Then the suspension, typical Volkswagen suspension as well. The whole under part is, if you ever built a Volkswagen from Tamiya, you will recognize this all very well. More suspension parts here. Right over here, we go to the interior. You go to the steering mechanism, handbrake over here. Here you have the different body colors it had here, the Fontana grey, black, ruby red and sea blue, with the interior color which fits there, and a pearl white and a java green, Bahama blue and sea sand. So we have 8 body colors to choose from. If you want to go stock, which I think would be appropriate with something like this, then we have dashboard, interior, how to put it all together right over here. The engine parts, exhaust, battery, etc. Interior, very, very nicely. Then we put the wheels on, put the glass in. The engine obviously is at the back, so the engine flap is opening at the back. Then you get everything together, get the lights in, and the last Kudemans. And here you can see those 60s Karmann Ghia headlights we have talked about earlier, not the hexagonal, but kind of the ones. And then we look at the markings. Well, it doesn't have any decals, so it doesn't have any number plate decals either. Very interesting. It only has those silver markings, which I will show you in a minute. Right, next one is the tires. We have a look at these mighty, well, they're 125/14, something like that, 125/15, I think. Anyway, we wouldn't know from these tires because they are not marked. Let's get ourselves a bit closer to the subject here, shall we? Here we go. You can see these tires are not marked. They have a very nice tread. Here we go, you can see it, but there's a seam in the middle which you need to take care of. Apart from that, they're nice. They're also hard, so you need to construct your wheels around them. Very difficult to slip them on after the fact. We have the little pulley caps, and here is the only kind of decals you will ever get. Here we go, come here. So you have Karmann Ghia, Volkswagen, 3 emblems which you can put on your car. Very, very pretty. Right. Then the glass, as usual. I'm not going to take it out. Here you can see it's all in one piece. Side glass, front glass, back glass. If it fits, that's cool. Doesn't fit, is always a bit of a Peter. Then the front lights, back lights, and the indicator lights, and that's about it. That's the whole glass thing for the Karmann Ghia. Let's start with this one. So we have a black sprue, which I will have to show you right now. You can see the body pan, you can see at the bottom, very nicely structured. It's part of it. Engine parts, there's a steering wheel, it's very much a Volkswagen steering wheel. We have the Steely's wheels, exhaust system, part of the suspension right over here. Seats, engine halves right over here with the belt assembly, steering linkage, a bottom part of the engine right over here. These are the drum brakes right over here, suspension parts, shock absorbers, and not quite sure what these 2 small things are. That we will have to find out when we build it. So that basically gives you an idea of what is on the black sprue. It's mostly suspension and engine parts. Right, and then we come to our next and last sprue, which I've packed this one away. And this will be this one, the white and chrome, which I have put in one bag. I can't tell you why. Stupid. Anyway, right, and here we are. Here is the chrome, and we have the wheel covers, we have the light covers. We have some, I'm not sure what that is, lights, we have the rear light, backgrounds. We have, which I think would be the exhaust tips right over here. We have the front grille, and we have, that's probably mirrors and the wipers. Wipers are also here, right over here. All nice and small, but not bad at all. Bit of cleanup, and you will have to decide yourself if the touch-up is enough, or you want to dechrome and rechrome it. And then we have the white sprue, which has the dashboard, which of course we are always very keen on. Here it is. Here you go. Some more wheel covers. We have the steering column right over here, and parts, engine parts, air filter and battery. We have some hoses right over here. We have the flap, hood or bonnet right over here. We have the front pan for the front baggage department. We have the inside panels of the door, rear seat right over here, and here we have Karmann Ghia actually engraved in here. Not quite sure you can see that, probably not. So you will have to take my word for it. There's Karmann Ghia stenciled. You kind of can see it stenciled in here. So I guess you could Volkswagen Karmann Ghia that if that's what you want to do. That obviously the hat flap behind the seat. And then last, but certainly not least, the beautiful, beautiful and delicate Ghia body from the fine folks at Ghia. Indeed, here it is. So let's have a look here. Isn't it beautiful? I think it is. Very nice detail actually. The door spaces look very, very in scale. There you can see where there are a bit of a seam which you need to clean up, but really nothing to write home about. Otherwise, beautiful, beautiful buggy. There they have stamped in that it is a 124 Karmann Ghia from Tamiya. So you need to sand this out, and then you go further. Beautiful body. I really like it. I think it's a beautiful little car, sexy little car. Love the hips, and with that we'll go back upstairs, and I'll give you my little summary. See you there. Right, and here we are back upstairs with our little Karmann Ghia kit that I just showed you. It is a lovely kit. I love the car. Probably could have been the worst kit in the world. Still would have built it, but it's not the worst kit in the world. It's actually a very nice mid-90s Tamiya kit, and I really like it. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing different glasses from this morning, well, I got new ones. I recorded the first part, the intro and the history this morning, and then the day just happened, and now we have evening and I'm back. And I have new glasses and actually can see stuff. Wonderful. Anyway, lovely, lovely kit. I would really, really, if you can get hold of it, grab it. If you like these kind of cars, you know. I love the 50 design cars. As I said, my dream car would be an Isabella Coupe. If anybody would make that, I would buy 5 for sure. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. I certainly did. I had a lovely time, and I'm looking forward building my little Karmann Ghias. Well, till that happens, and till our next time we meet up, all the best and greetings from Cape Town. Cheers.